starting recording.
Have you been recording any of that rubbish we were just talking about as the
No, I
pre-intro
haven't.
dribble?
No. I
So
should have done, really.
so what we're saying is all of our good material never makes it to air. Not
Yeah.
even in the lost tapes of NDP.
Yeah. But I think actually a good pre-podcast recording ramble is us referring to how good all of that stuff we were just saying is before I clicked record.
If only people had been listening.
If only.
They'll never know.
They'll never know how good we are. Oh, well.
Oh,
Upset
all downhill from there. 3, 2, 1, intro music.
up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Dice Please, the bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by the people at Blood Bowl Live. My name is Chris. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Scott Bryant. Scott, how are we today?
I'm good, Chris. Thank you very much. Emotional and semi-professional as always.
Fantastic. And we are not joined by Tom this week. He has other things that he's got to do. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that he is beautifully portrayed. And I can't wait for him to watch it and see how beautifully portrayed he is this week. What are we going to talk to you about this week? Well, next week, I know it's an odd way to talk about what we're talking about this week, but next week we will be talking about our collective appearance at a tournament happening on Saturday. So what we thought we would do this week, we're not going to talk to you specifically about that tournament because we'll do that next week. But this week, we're going to talk a little bit about tournaments, how we prepare for tournaments, what do we do to prepare for tournaments, how good is tournament prep when you look at your actual results, and what good experience and bad experiences we have had at tournaments. Myself and Scott are from two completely different sides of the spectrum. I've got a number of tournaments under my belt. Scott
Can you
has
just clarify that we're from different ends of the Blood Bowl spectrum in terms of results? Just to clarify for listeners, viewers everywhere.
Yes, and now I think a future week we need to come up with whatever the Blood Bowl spectrum is. That needs to be some homework for us to come up with the Blood Bowl spectrum. But yeah, we've both got different tournament experiences. Scott with less tournament experiences than myself, being one tournament. But we're going to go over a little bit about how we find tournaments and what we do to prepare. So I guess we start with the question, Scott, which is how do you prepare yourself for a tournament?
For me, it's what team have I got available, painted that I fancy playing with, and the choice for this particular weekend, spoiler alert for anybody going, it's going to be Skaven. And the reason I've chosen Skaven, I enjoy Skaven. I enjoy the YOLO-ness of them all. I enjoy the insanity. They're either going to play really, really well and the dice gods are going to be on my side, or I'm going to dodge out, roll a double one, and then I'm going to kill myself. And even the rogue. And I am taking a rogue. I know we've talked about big guys, but the big guy is coming for me. I had the models. I had used them in previous seasons, and I thought, I'll get them out. I'll dust them off. I'll give them a go. So that was literally all of my decision-making process in terms of the team. Was yours as scientific as that and as an in-depth analysis, Chris, or was it just, no, I'd play the lizards again? It was to play the lizards again, wasn't it?
I think it may have been influenced at the point I made the decision what team I was going to bring. I was on an 11-game losing run, and I without playing lizards, or 12-game losing run. So I think I thought to myself, I want to enjoy myself. I'd like to have a chance of winning, and my record with lizards is the best record that I've got. So there was some influence there that I think if I'd maybe been playing them or I'd been playing something else and I'd been doing well, maybe I would have not made the decision to go lizards. I did toy with the idea of doing Skaven, a bit like yourself, and I did toy with the idea of taking Necromantic Horror, but I've not played them in any tournaments for any competitive way before. So yeah, I think it was probably influenced by a want to do well, and I feel like my best bet is lizards with that.
And on that point, then, when you say you want to do well, do you want to do well in terms of coming back with a positive win record, or are you looking at the whole, I want my name on that trophy and I want all of the other Blood Bowl coaches to bask in my glory at the end of the day type
I
success?
mean, it would be nice to have a trophy for the Ducks to have a trophy. I mean, I've got I've got trophies, but none of them are for like a big tournament win. I've got a trophy which is like an annual tournament that I have to give back if I don't win it again next year. I've got a third place trophy, I've got a wooden spoon trophy, and I've got a trophy that says I was the best dressed coach of the season. So that's not so I don't have a winners trophy, and that would be nice. But actually, I I've got really into recently. I shared this with yourself. I got really into like my personal meta and like going through all of the games I've played and what is my win percentage against different teams and different coaches playing different teams and all this sorts of stuff. And my overall ranking is just like my overall kind of win percentage is just under 50%.
Okay.
And looking on NAF as well, my lizards win percentage is again, it's just under 50%. It's 46.4. So if I came out with it with 2 wins and a loss, I would have a 50% record with my lizards, or even a win and 2 draws would give me a 50% record with my lizards. So that's kind of in my head. I think I would quite. That's more what I'm thinking. Um, there's going to be some great coaches there. So whether I can come back with a trophy, I don't think so. But I'd like to come back. I always want a win, and I always aim for 50% win rate. That I feel okay if I get 50%, come home with 50% win rate.
I think I'll be happy with one win. So I got at least one W out of the 3 matches. Anything else is a bonus. So that's what I'm looking for. I've got my Skaven. I know what Skaven can do. I've gone through the team, and in terms of the value, I've got 12 rats on the pitch, 1 roger, 3 gutter runners, 2 blitzers, 1 throw, and the rest linemen for the cannon fodder, and to be punched, and understandably so, by the roger on activation. So everything's ready. And in terms of then the skill points, I thought I'm not going to take any secondaries because we've got 36 SPP, which is for a tier 1 team is going to be 6 skills. So what do you take for rats? What are you going to do in terms of the mind play? So I've got a blitzer with I've got to remember these now. A blitzer with guard to be that supporting piece. I've got a blitzer with tackle. So if we've got any dodgies, he can go after the tackle piece. I've got a gutter runner with sprint because you do want that range of 12.
Gives you the option, doesn't it?
Always gives you an easier 1-turn touchdown. So that's going to be fun. I've got a gutter runner with sprint. He's going to be going after and doing stupid things, elfish, jumping in or dodging into cages. No, sorry, he's got strip ball. Did I say? What did I say sprint? I don't know. I'm just
again. I thought
I
you
just
were
love
just
sprint.
really keen on sprint.
I was just so happy then to realize I've got 12, and I just got overly excited in my mind in terms of 1-turn touchdowns. So anyway, gutter runner with 1 gutter runner with sprint, 1 gutter with strip ball. So he's going to be the guy dodging in, and if it needs to be 2 up blocks, it's 2 up blocks. Because with strip ball, then the only thing I've really got to offer the opposition, as long as I don't get a skull, then the opposition, and as long as he doesn't have block or tackle, or sorry, block or dodge, then we hopefully will be all right in terms. Oh no, as long as I get block, because if it's got dodge, even if I get a stumble, then I'll take the ball off it. So that's fine. So that's the plan with that piece. And then I've got one of my line rat with kick, because I always think kick and Skaven can work very well indeed. And then I was hooing and hawing for my thrower. I did think about taking dump off because I think it's such a good skill. But again, with the fact that the Skaven thrower is the one who has to go with sure hands, pick up the ball and get into a suitable position, where does that leave me? Does that work or not? So I've gone with Cannoneer. So if I do need to get towards the end of a match and hoof it down the pitch for 13 squares with a 4+ on a reroll for a Skaven thrower, That's pretty good, and a 2+ catch. So I got a good chance of it, but 60%, 75% of being good accuracy chance, and a good chance of it being caught as well. And then off we go. Yeah, so that's my current skills upsets at the moment. Have I designed it with a specific play style? I've tried to cover off, pretty much A, I can do the 1-turn touchdown. B, I've got something up my sleeve if I need it with Cannoneer. I've got things that can go after the ball as well, and with guard and with tackle and with the Roger and some cannon fodder. Hopefully we've got enough Bashy to hold that line in particular as well. Can I guess, of the Ducks, have you just gone tackle across all your big guys and that's it?
Block across all
Block
6
on
of them.
everything. Oh,
Yeah.
he's gone for the block. Why
Yeah.
was that, Chris? Why was that?
So the first tournament I went to was at the same place.
Yeah.
And that tournament I think I took a couple of block on Saurus, but then I took catch on some of I took catch and I took pass, and I tried to sort of play a passing game, which I had done in the league that season. And at that tournament, someone said to me, NAF tournaments will break you. You won't do fun setups like that again. You will go for the sensible setup. I was like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then every tournament since then, I think I've gone block across all my Saurus, and I've gone for the sensible setup. Because it's just so good. It's just the Lizardmen Saurus, their biggest problem is lack of skills. Give them block, and you've got 6 strength 4 with block, movement 6. That's you struggle to get better than that in a lot of teams. Get the Croxagore in there as well. That gives you 7 people strength 4 and above to just make a big line that anyone's got to try and break through before they can even get to your skinks. It's such a powerful combination. So that's what I will be taking, and I think it'll work.
You're taking the big bashy guys. I'm taking one big bashy guy who'll probably bash himself with a lot of dodging and agile and squishiness. Obviously, Tom, wherever he will be in terms of his beautiful portrait that we've now immortalized forever on the YouTube and on this NDP podcast. What's Tom taking? Well, he's taking vampires, dear listener,
Yes.
dear viewer. Now, Tom had an interesting experience, an emotional experience, shall we say, in the last season with vampires, even with 4 rerolls. But he played them. He's had a couple of good results. He's had a win against yourself, Chris, in a friendly match as well. And
it was a draw.
Was it a draw in the end? Sorry, that was just my wishful thinking on Tom's behalf. Speak to my lawyer.
You should have.
Yeah. So Tom's playing. So what do you think? Do you think Tom's gonna just absolutely, is Bloodlust going to be his friend or Bloodlust be his worst enemy?
I think over a tournament day, you would hope it would average out. So I wonder whether he'll have a really bad game, a really good game, and a kind of a game where it balances itself a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the skills, I know some of the skills he was talking about going for did sound quite sort of like good combinations. The setup he was going for, I don't think he's going for a Vargeist, but I think he's possibly going for a star.
He is going for Harry Potter, isn't he? The Mr. Drakov, who's the star player for vampires? He looks like Harry Potter. Can't remember his name.
He was because that is very expensive, aren't they?
Drakov. Yeah, I think he's about 250. Someone will pick me up on
that. Let's see if I can find it. I think he changed his mind on that one.
Whilst he brings that up, can you check how many rerolls he's got? How many rerolls are you taking for the Ducks, Chris?
I'll be taking 2 rerolls, and I will be taking a mascot.
Okay, I'm going to be taking 3 rerolls, and I'm going to be taking an AFOC.
You are right.
I know. I can't. I saw that first of all, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. All you need to do is a little lightning scar, and that's going to be copyright J.K. Rowling.
She will take you down.
You know.
If vampires could be an interesting one for Tom. I hope they don't screw him over too much on the day, because it's always like there's two ways they can screw him over. Really, he could have a pretty balanced day, but get the bloodlust against the wrong opponent. Like he could get the bloodlust against someone that he could beat, and not get bloodlust at all against someone who is gonna run away with the tournament. So I hope he gets the right bloodlust against the right person at the right time, and has an enjoyable day with them. So
would you be upset? Last thing about us as coaches in terms of our teams, if you draw Tom, would you be upset?
I will be upset if I draw either of you two, if I'm honest. They will be fun games. Absolutely, they will be two enjoyable matches. But I would like to. You always like to play someone new at a tournament. It's a nice, or play someone that you don't encounter very often, because when you do regular tournaments, you do see the same faces over and over again, and that's quite nice. It's quite nice. You get to know people, and it adds kind of a bit more of a sense of community to the tournament in general. So it would be nice to play someone who maybe I don't play often. Ideally, you play three people you've never played before, because it just gives you some variety. So that would be
Because
nice.
just remind me, because obviously as we get older, memories get a bit hazier. Because you played Tom in the Ipswich Open, and I can't quite remember your score. Was it
Oh,
4-0?
in the Ipswich
The
Classic.
Ipswich Classic.
Oh, I better not get this wrong. So
I know
I will just
you were
have
playing the
a look.
Ducks. You were playing the Ducks, the Lizardmen. He was playing his dirty bed sheets
Yes,
and his necromantic horrors.
5-0. It was
It was
5-0.
5. It was only. Oh, my apologies. I thought it was only 4, but there you go. I just didn't want. I didn't want you to feel that I'd missed out and not given you the credit you deserve.
I think part of the problem with that game was, firstly, Tom's dice just decided that 2 games was enough. I think so, and they just left him. But also, I organized that tournament, so I had committed to not taking away any prizes. I was gonna, forego any prizes, because I wanted other people to. I wanted to see other people win things, which was quite annoying, because it's probably one of my best tournament performances that I've ever had. But I in that game against Tom, I was 1 less, or maybe 2 less in touchdowns than my brother. And in my head, I wanted to get most touchdowns. So I absolutely went for it. And it worked. So he caught me at the wrong time when I was absolutely gunning for it. But Tom had a really good tournament at the Ipswich Classic, I think. And you came away with best painted team
I
as
did.
well. Let's
So
not forget.
that's my NAF positive for the year. I'll take it. One down.
Yeah, he only had two of his games were against NAF opponents. He won 3-1 against Vampires. He had 5-0 against me, but I think even his second game, which I think was against Wood Elves, was a decent performance. I think it was against somebody who went on to do very, very well. So I'll see if I can. I should be able to find the result. Let's see if we can find it.
Whilst you do that, have a think as well. So we're allowed out on Saturday. We've all been given management of all the relevant domestic management parties have given us permission to go forth on Saturday and be the or try to be the Bloodbowl coaches that we always aspire to be. What are you looking forward to most of all about the tournament? What are you not looking forward to? So what have previous tournaments taught you in terms of what's good, what's not so good?
I'm looking forward. As a day, I really enjoy tournaments as a day, and especially some of these local ones. But actually, I found it went to the Welsh Open, and I found it there as well. The kind of like camaraderie that you get, and the general community with all of the other coaches that are there, is just really nice. Any coach who has finished their game, no matter whether you know them or not, everyone is happy after the game to sit and have a little chat about how it went, or you're then keeping an eye on other games, and just the whole day is really, really good fun. And yeah, it's talking to other coaches, getting to know some of the other coaches, and it's always, I've always found Blood Bowl to be such a accepting, welcoming, friendly bunch of people, and it's just nice to be kind of around that sort of group for a
Yeah.
day. And I think that's probably what I will look forward to the most. Actually, is just having some. You know that generally you're gonna get like 3 fun games, and they're gonna be 3 fun competitive games. And if you don't do very well in them, you normally come out learning a lot from them. So there is always a takeaway. As far as something I'm not going to look forward to is I'm not very good at not being very nice, and sometimes you do need to be the bad guy. Um, and it can be so difficult. I mean, I'm sure you will have had this in like a league game where you're playing against someone and they either do something and it's either a mistake or something like that, and they say, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Can I take that back? Can I do this? Whatever." And most of the time, it's just I've moved a player. Oh, can I move them back? Well, no dice have been rolled. Okay, well, yeah, all right. That's not really going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things. Fine. Sometimes it is something that is a bit more kind of severe, and things at tournaments you have to make sure you declare your actions, things like that. It could be that someone's done so many different dice rolls to get to the point where they have to do a pass, and then they never declared the pass, and technically you're well within your rights
Yeah.
to say, no, I'm sorry, you can't do that pass, you didn't declare it. And people have said that to me at tournaments. I've realized I haven't done something, and I've messed up, and I have to live with that. And I think that's something that I'm not very good at. I often let people get away with things maybe that you should not let them get away with. And you're on the way home and you're thinking, if I had not let them do that, I could have done this. And
Yeah.
you're living in a what if world, and that can be a bit disheartening. But for that to be the thing I'm not looking forward to, grand scheme of it, that's nothing on the event I'm going to. That's something that on me, and it's not the worst thing really to be to be your dread for the day.
Well, mine not looking forward to by comparison. I might not have to worry about it, and I'll ask you on this. But first of all, what I like and what I'm looking forward to is again that day out, the camaraderie, the community. I think it's something which is unique to Blood Bowl, and by Nuffle may it long continue. The willingness, he says, pulling his headphones out. Apologies, YouTube. There, I was getting very excited. That's how much looking forward to the tournament. In
Scott's
term,
so
sorry,
excited for this tournament. You will not
yeah.
believe how
I think
excited Scott
I
is for
think
this
it's a
tournament.
mixture of I think it's a mixture of the tournament and being allowed out for the day. It's like, yeah. So I'm sure that'll come back to bite me in due course. I'm looking forward to the community, looking forward to the day, looking forward to meeting, playing more coaches, learning more about my style and how I can play that. The one thing which I found at the Ipswich Classic, when we're actually playing the game, when people sit down at the board and you play with the board looking at you in a horizontal, like in a landscape way.
So you're
I
side on
I
rather
have
than
I
end
have to
zone.
get up and look at it from the end on as a portrait. I'm looking from my end zone right down to the other end zone as well. I just
Okay.
sitting there. It's just like that's okay where it is. So playing so much, and I know that I'm not a Blood Bowl 3 aficionado. I know that's the way the setup looks on Blood Bowl 3. You're playing, end zone to end zone. So yeah, playing on the sideways angle. Any coaches who I do play on the weekend, and you think, oh, would you just sit down? That scaling coach, you're just getting up all the time. That's the way I thought. Yeah, just I know you've got to think about space, ergonomics, the number of people, the physical footprint of the building that you're in. So my question to you is: last time you played at this particular venue, was it sideways or was it lengthways? And I am talking about the table.
You'll be happy, Scott. I would think you will be end zone to end zone.
That's what we like. Simple things. That's all I need. Simple
You know
things.
what? To be honest, though, I going into the Ipswich Classic, I had the same worry. I was like, oh, do I want to be side on? I'm not used to being side on, and I was, not very happy. But I was some pitches, especially where you're on a big table and you are kind of like reaching to kind of scrab over to push them into the end zone. Um, yeah, I did quite like being side on. I did, and also I felt like I could kind of like clearly survey the whole pitch, like in front of me. I did quite like it, but
I, th- I
um,
think that has given me then my action from tonight's podcast about what to do for next tournament preparation. Sideways on action.
Scott's gonna try it sideways and see if it sticks, and he'll feed back onto us for another time.
That couldn't be misconstrued as a euphemism in any way, shape, or form, could it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're
We're
clean
not.
here.
We're not in the
We're not that
gutter.
kind of. We're
We
not that kind of podcast.
we have standards.
Well, best of luck to anyone who's going to this tournament. Best of luck at most to myself, Scott, and Tom. We'll be hoping for some good records. If you've got any tips about how you prepare for tournaments, what sort of things you look to do you try and get lots of practice games in? Do you not bother with practice games? What do you do to prepare for a tournament? Let us know. Scott, how on earth do people get in touch?
Well, glad you asked that, Chris. They can get in touch with us a multitude of ways. They can leave a comment on this particular broadcast when it goes up onto the mighty YouTube. So leave a comment down there as a sacrifice to the algorithm. You can also email us direct at newdiceplease, all one word, all lowercase, newdiceplease@gmail.com. Or we are also going to be available. You can contact us through the mighty portal of the ADBBL, either that on Facebook, either that on YouTube. And I believe, New Dice Please, we also have some sort of presence on Instagram and other social media outlets.
Yes.
Something like that, roughly.
Bloodbowl Live Instagram does exist.
This is what happens, see, when Tom is away, when he's doing what he's doing. I'm assuming he's down with the kids, keeping it real, word on the street. Or either that or he's working on his next Netflix series. Without Tom to remind us, this is it. We fall apart.
We do.
It's carnage. It's apologies, viewers. Apologies to all our viewers, the UK, non-UK. Hello, Pat. If you're Mr. Andres, if you're listening to this drivel, So
I guess I'll do Tom's bit, but I will ask Tom the question, and then I'll just channel my inner Tom. Tom, if people want to see more about what we do, where can they find us? And then I vanish, and then I come.
Are you going to do a voice or just?
I'm not going to do a voice. Well, you can find us over on Twitch at twitch.tv/BloodBowlLive, where we have live streamed games and our Monday Night Roundup. You can also find us on YouTube at Bloodbowl Live as well, where you can catch our Monday Night Roundup, you can catch this podcast, you can catch our live streams, and an array of other things that will be coming there in the past and in the foreseeable future.
It was uncanny,
Thanks,
Chris.
Tom.
It was like he was in the room.
It was, isn't it? You couldn't tell the difference.
If you listen to that back, viewers, and you close your eyes, it's as if there's always been three of us on this podcast.
Well, that's it for us this week. Thank you very much, Scott, for joining me once again.
Pleasure as always, Chris.
Tom will be back with us at a future time when they've finished filming his Netflix special. Thank you for joining us. We have been New Dice Please, and we will see you next time.